Hey everyone, so today we're going to be diving into the world of NoLow cocktails, also known as mocktails, faux tails, or virgin cocktails. We're going to be talking about why this category is important, what it is and what it isn't, and we're going to be making two tiki style NoLow cocktails, so let's do this. Mocktails, or as I like to refer to them, NoLow cocktails, have been around basically for, well, ever. I mean, you've got Shirley Temples, virgin pina coladas, and bitters and soda. But recently this category has seen a resurgence in popularity. And this category that we're talking about are cocktails that consist of zero, no, or very low ABV. In 2022, the NoLow cocktail category, or market, surpassed $11 billion. And it's actually slated to almost double, if not more, by the year 2026. But why now all of a sudden are we seeing a resurgence in NoLow cocktails? Well, honestly, I think it's simple and it's due to one word: COVID. During COVID, it was a really stressful time for a lot of us, and a lot of us chose to over-imbibe. It was a choice, let's be honest. Coming out of COVID, a lot of us said, maybe I should really cut back. So maybe I'll dial it back a little bit, maybe not drink as much, or not drink at all. Not only that, but during COVID, since bars and restaurants were shut down, a lot of us took to home mixology and fell in love with craft cocktails. So we now have this category of people that are coming out of COVID a little bit more health conscious, but still in love with craft cocktails. They want to be able to go to a bar, have that whole experience, but not feel left out. Ergo, an explosion in the NoLow cocktail market. Over the last few years, we've started to see NoLow cocktails pop up on craft cocktail bar menus across the country. Some restaurants, like Death & Company, even have an entire section dedicated to them, consisting of 3, 4, even up to 6 NoLow cocktails. But I do feel like there's a sector that's being underserved, and that happens to be the tiki community. The problem is a lot of tiki bars are not adding NoLow cocktails to their menu, and I think that's time to change. But before we get into NoLow cocktails and NoLow tiki cocktails, there are a few things we need to discuss. First of all, if you're planning to recreate a classic tiki cocktail in a NoLow format, you're going to be disappointed. Now I know you're asking yourself, what? Then why should we even bother? So here's the deal. You're going to be disappointed because we simply cannot recreate the same exact flavor profiles that we have in alcoholic beverages. The main star of most tiki cocktails, let's be honest, is rum. And if we take that out, what do we replace it with? And we'll talk about that in a future episode. But you need to understand that rum, alcohol, ethanol specifically, is an amazing solvent. And we have yet to find something that is just as good. So anything you try to replace it with is not going to have the same complexity. But that doesn't mean we can't look to other things to add complexity to our cocktails. But don't worry, not all hope is lost. Before you go and say to yourself, well, I'm never gonna have a quality craft cocktail again, that's just simply not the case. What we can do is we can take what we love about tiki cocktails, the escapism, the exotic tropical flavors, the layers of flavors, and recreate those aspects in NoLow cocktails. There's hope, trust me. Speaking of which, let's get into making some cocktails. The first cocktail that we're gonna make hits all of those same sour, sweet, and spice notes that we love about tiki cocktails, but does it in a low ABV way, and this is known as the Tiki Bitters and Soda. To make your Tiki Bitters and Soda, you are going to need soda water, rich cane syrup, lime juice, and aromatic bitters. Now we're gonna be building this one on a glass, so grab a chilled 12-ounce Collins glass. Next, fill it with some cubed ice. Into your chilled glassware, add 4 dashes of aromatic bitters, 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 milliliters of lime juice, half an ounce or 15 milliliters of rich cane syrup, Now we top with soda water, pouring it down the side of the glass. Give it a quick little stir to mix. Garnish with a mint sprig. And serve with a straw. And there we have our Tiki Bitters and Soda. Let's give it a try. That is light and bright. You get the lime juice, which is being tempered by the sweetness from the rich cane syrup, and then you get this explosion of bitters, of clove and cinnamon, and all the things that you love about like allspice ramen cocktails, but in a much more lengthened out way. Now, roughly my glass with my iceware takes about 6 ounces of soda water. With those measurements and the ABV of the aromatic bitters, this cocktail clocks in at about 0.6% ABV, or basically the same alcohol content as a banana. So it's really low ABV, right? And if you're going to a bar, asking for a bitters and soda is a great way to have a craft cocktail-like experience with very low, almost no ABV at all. Now, there is something else to consider. The cocktail that I just showed you is, I mean, it's got some alcohol in it. It's very, very low alcohol. It's basically about the same as mouthwash. But let's say you don't want to imbibe on alcohol at all. Well, if we take rum out of tiki cocktails, aren't we just left with syrup and juice? Wouldn't that just be sickeningly sweet and unbalanced? Could be, but doesn't have to be. So the standard tiki template for most tiki cocktails is 1 part sour, 1 part sweet, 2 parts rum. Now, typically that 1 part sweet is split in half to a half part of syrup and a half part of liqueur. Now, if we take out the rum and the liqueur, what we're left is 1 part sour, half a part sweet. That doesn't sound like a good cocktail to me. But again, don't lose all hope, because we can still create complex tiki cocktails using simply just citrus juice, other juices, and syrups. And this is where we start to blend those things. Much like Don said, what 1 rum can't do, 3 can. What 1 syrup can't do, 3 can. Now, of course, we do need to make sure that we balance this with the citrus aspect of it, but honestly, it's not that hard. Now, to showcase an example of this, we're gonna turn towards the Halekulani. We're gonna make a virgin Halekulani that still is complex in flavor, has depth, and is well balanced. To make the virgin Halekulani, you are going to need pineapple molasses syrup, grenadine, orange juice, and lemon juice. In a shaking tin, add 1 1/4 or 37.5 milliliters of lemon juice. Now add 1 1/2 ounces or 45 milliliters of orange juice. Next, add 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of grenadine. Then add 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of pineapple molasses syrup. Add 8 ounces of pebble ice to your shaking tin. And whip shake for about 5 seconds. Grab a chilled 12-ounce double old-fashioned glass. And add 6 ounces of pebble ice. Now open pour the contents of the shaking tin into the glassware. Garnish with some pineapple fronds and a lemon wheel. Don't forget to serve with a straw. And there you have it, a completely non-alcoholic version of a classic tiki cocktail. Let's give it a try. So, it has a lot of the same flavors as the Halekulani. It's got that orange and that pineapple, which is being balanced out by that lemon juice. The grenadine is coming in. But here's the trick. The original Halekulani used pineapple juice. This one is using pineapple molasses syrup. The original one used bourbon. So we need those barrel-aged dark notes that we'd get from the bourbon. That's why we're going with a pineapple molasses syrup. It's adding that pineapple flavor plus that burnt caramel and sugar flavor that we'd get from bourbon. Is it a Halekulani? No, but it is a great non-ABV, completely virgin stand-in? Absolutely. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and welcome to an introduction to NoLow Tiki cocktails. Over the next few weeks, I'm gonna be dropping a video every single week with a new tip on how to create quality craft NoLow Tiki cocktails at home. Make sure you stay tuned, because next week we're gonna be talking about how to pick a base. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click that little notification bell, follow me over on Instagram and TikTok at MixingUpTiki, and you guys know the deal. Until next week, Akoli Maluna. It's so simple and so good. It tastes like a spiced limeade that I could just, like on a hot day, this is the jam, 100%, hands down.